Welcome back to the shop. Thank you for stopping by. Let me tell you something. It has been a long time since I've been here in the office, here in the shop. I got myself a new job, and it's about an hour away, so I'm driving a lot every day, and frankly, it's kind of been kicking my ass. By the time I get home, I just want to veg out. I don't want to come down to the shop and do any work, so I have not been doing a whole lot of things. But it is the weekend. You guys need a video. I need to get some work done. We've got the race car on jack stands behind us, as it has been all winter long, and I've got an event coming up the next couple of weeks, and I need to get on this thing and get some stuff done to it. Now, if you remember back to the last race we did with this car, I got hit, I destroyed a wheel, there's some body damage. It was a little bit of an ordeal. And so I need to get under this thing and really do some inspections. I've already been under it, I've wiped it all down, and I'm not seeing anything it's bent, even though the steering wheel is cocked over a little bit. What I want to start with is pulling the passenger fender off. It needs to be reshaped a little bit. I'm going to racer my way through that. And while we're in there, we're gonna give it a real good inspection to make sure nothing is bent in the shell of the car. I've been over the suspension. I don't think anything is bent. I'm gonna have to realign the car, but I don't think anything is horribly bent. So let's get to it. Let's get this front end taken apart. Okay, so we've got some pretty good bending right through here. Now, I want to note that there is a right way to do this, there's a wrong way to do this, and then there's the racer way to do this, which is somewhere in between. I could put a new fender on it, but then I gotta paint it, and like that's a whole ordeal, so I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm gonna see if I could, there you go. You can see all that wrinkling and weirdness there. So we're gonna try to pull some of that out of it. And, ooh, yeah, see, this is the original Honda fender, which makes it pretty nice. But if you can hit it just right, sometimes you can get it to fall back into place. See, we're already, there's a fender line, I don't know if you can see it, right through here, we're already getting that back pretty much where it wants to be. Using blocks of wood to help distribute the load is another technique. An actual body guy would freak out at this, because this is pretty heinous what I'm doing here, but it's working. It's coming out. It's coming out. Hey! I don't know if I can show you or not, but if you can see, yeah, there you go. Looking way better than it was. You can see the wrinkle is, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. It's never gonna be perfect, but it's gonna be a whole lot better than it was, and it is right there. You know what? I could spend a lot more hours on this, but I'm not going to, because I think that is plenty good enough. Look at that. It's so much better than what we started. So, I'm gonna go over to the car and reinstall this fender. You saw it coming off, you don't need to see it going back on, and I will be right back. All right, here we have this whole corner is now put back together and tightened up, and I fixed a couple of things. Obviously, this is not nearly as bad as it was. I also found that this bumper edge keeps coming apart. Figured out why, put the proper fasteners back in that, so that shouldn't happen anymore. The other thing that I figured out is, if you can see right here, there's a whole bunch of missing paint on this corner and on that corner of the hood. I fixed that clearance as well, so the hood now shuts nicely. For somebody who didn't spend a lot of time in a body shop, I think that fender gap looks pretty good for a race car. So, now, the next thing I'm gonna do, this car has never had a driver's side fender liner. Now, this is the fender liner. This is a, well, it does a couple of things. For one, it keeps the engine bay clean of mud and stuff on a street car. What it's gonna do for me is provide a little bit more of a aero advantage. It keeps air out of the fender well, which is very dirty, which kind of, creates blockage. We want air to flow over the car, not necessarily through the car. And this is gonna help with that. So I'm gonna get to work putting that in. It's not terribly exciting. I will be back with you guys when there's something more to talk about. All right, pretty much have the fender liner in place. Now, this is not like a huge deal or anything like that, but I'm running a class where tiny things can make a big difference in performance. So I pulled this off a parts car that I stripped on the channel a long time ago, and I decided to go ahead while I'm working right now on off-season work, get it in place. I do still need to get a couple of pins for some of the holes so that it will hold itself in place a little better, like up here, but that's pretty much it. Now, what I need to do now is get this car down on its wheels so that I can start looking at an alignment, see if I can figure out what is not quite right, why is the steering wheel cocked over to one direction, figure some stuff out like that. Now, on that front, I got some new trailer, I'm gonna call them trailer tires, but it's a set of wheels I put on the car that's not my race wheels so that the tires are not out in the sun and everything. Anyway, here they are. Here they are! My goal was for these to be dumb cheap. Didn't want to pay much money for them, but I also have this sickness where I can't just put ugly stuff on. I could have had some steel wheels or something that would have been cheaper, but I don't know, whatever. I like these. I think they're pretty cool. They need to be cleaned up. I am not actually a fan of the green and gold, so I am actually going to paint them white. I'm actually going to paint them white because I think white wheels would look awesome on this car, and I'm going to use these to test that look so that the next set of actual race wheels I get, paint those white too if it looks good. So I'm going to clean these wheels up and I'm going to prepare to paint. I don't know if I'm going to get to painting in this video because frankly I'm not vibing with painting the wheels right now. But I'm going to get to that and we'll keep cranking on this off-season stuff that I should have been doing already. Alright, I've got all my wheels and tires and I'm remembering a couple of things now. I remember that two of these tires, this one has corded already because, well, I let it run this edge too long, so that tire is junk. This one is really close to cording. Might as well trash it as well, I guess. Don't love that, but that's how that's got to be. So these two are junk, and of course we have the wheel that I broke at the Arc. So this is the complication. This is the weird part that we have to work out now. And one big problem I'm having here is this is kind of a complicated swap a wee bit, and I sort of fear that my local place is not going to handle it super well. There's a lot of stuff that I should have been working on for a long time now, but I'm sure we'll get it done. We'll be able to figure something out. I'm just kind of rambling now, so I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to make some more marks and stack these up, and we will move on to the Cool Soup cooler. I'll show you guys that in a second. Okay, so I fixed this off camera. I just wanted to get it done and do it for me, and filming always slows things down. But here's the deal. What ended up happening is, you can see right here, this right here is where the hole the power wire for the pump came out of the pump across this hinge and through that hole and out the top to a control box here. Now, over years and years and years of this cooler opening and closing and opening and closing, it fatigued the wire and broke it inside this white sheath that you see here. So my ultimate fix for this was I drilled a hole right in the side of the cooler, as you can see right here, and I ran my wire straight out that hole. So now a couple of things is happening. I no longer have to, the wire's more appropriate length now. It won't ever be fatigued by this action anymore. It's a much less vulnerable thing in general. And so what we have to do now is, one, we need to seal up this hole so water doesn't come flying out everywhere. And two, well, I'm going to take this opportunity and fill in this hole. What I would love to do is get a piece of aluminum and just cut a big aluminum patch to stick on top of this so it doesn't look so, well, not very good. Can't do that today. Probably won't be able to do it before we leave for the weekend. But what I can do is seal up this hole. What I need to do is seal up this hole, and I'm going to use Great Stuff. It's an expanding foam insulator type situation, so we can see right in here. See how it expands like that? I'm going to keep packing it in there, because this is an insulative property, so it would be sick for my cooler to be more insulative. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so there you go. You see it expanding out everywhere and filling in all those holes, and gonna make this top really nice and airtight. No, keep going. There we go. There we go. See it rising up out of there? That's what we want. While it's still soft, just kind of skim it off there, and that'll be all right. Oop. The only thing about this stuff is it doesn't stop coming out. Once you squeeze this trigger, it's, well, it's gonna do its thing. So this is gonna be a little ugly, I'm afraid, because I don't really know how this is going to work exactly. But I know that it will seal this wire. Alright. Well, you know what? I think that's pretty much what we're working with right there. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. So I think that's probably going to be, well, you know what we can do? A little bit more just to be safe. Yeah, okay. I think that's going to pretty much do it for that. What I'm going to do is let all this dry, and then I can just cut it off with a razor blade or something. I can clean that up much easier in that manner. So for now, we're going to let that sit. And I will show you what we're doing next, which is going to be the bigger project that we're working on. I'll be right back. Here's the bigger project for the day. Right here used to be a stack of weights, ballast weight, to make the minimum legal weight for the class. The car got lighter, and so I don't need really any weight at all anymore. Well, it's not true. I need to add a little bit of weight. But anyway, I took this to just drop the cool suit cooler as an easy way of mounting it, and I'm not super happy with it any longer. So what I want to do is, there's big holes drilled in the body back here for these big old bolts. What I want to do is use those holes to maybe put a threaded insert down here and here that I can just bolt it straight to the car, and then make a little leg that kind of goes something like this to the side of the spare tire well, just to give it a little bit extra support. That will allow me to get rid of these big ugly bolts, and it's something I can just bolt in and bolt out, and it'd be really easy. So let's study that for a second and see what we can come up with. Alright, let's see how this goes. Insert it in. And then you gotta pull these bits together. Thread it back in. Okay. where's my test? Let's see how this works. Oh, that's so awesome. That is so cool. Oh, that's so cool. All right, let's do the next one. Yeah, there we go. Alrighty. Get it squeezed up a little bit. And back out. I don't really know how far I'm supposed to go with this, but I don't know, right? Maybe pretty far, I guess? I don't know. Yeah, so it hits a point of obvious resistance, and I suppose that is all she wrote. Alright, let's see how this fits. There's that. Oh, like butter! That is outstanding. Out freaking standing. I definitely need to put something that's gonna go from here to the floor or from here to here. It needs another point of support because that's not gonna be enough. And the other thing is I'm not concerned at all about weight for this thing because, well, because reasons, don't worry about it. So let's get this thing. Well, I'm going to look at this and just kind of study it for a minute or two. I'll come back with a plan.
But first down to forever be the inaugural race winner in the down to the lead. TCA was fierce. This is the TCA field. I think that can take a look at the first time through for the TCA.
So, just as a quick note, I'm not exactly super happy with how this thing looks. I know it's ugly, I know it's not exact, and I know it could be cleaner. One day I will come back and remake the whole tray. I want to use totally different materials. I want to do it a totally different way. Unfortunately, today is not that day. So let's just weld this thing up, stick it in the car. We'll come back to it later on. Camera will die shortly. Welcome to day 2 of prep. Everything you saw was on Saturday. It is now Sunday. I get to put some actual coats of paint on the face of these wheels. I am finishing up the Cool Suit Cooler mount now. Honestly, when I get that stuff done, I'm gonna bleed the brakes on the car, and then it's gonna be ready for, well, all the tire juggling that I discussed earlier. Well, maybe I didn't discuss, I haven't decided if I'm going to use that clip or not. But right now, we need to put some tie-down points on the Cool Suit Cooler, so let's go take a look at that. So yesterday, you watched me put these support feet on the thing. That is done. And now, we need to put some tie-downs on there. Now, if you're asking yourself, you know what, this whole thing looks really, really heavy and kind of ugly. Well, for one, yes, they're ugly, but please don't insult me like that. I'm doing the best that I can with the cheap, free materials that I already have. No, but it is ugly, and I'm not super happy with the way it looks. There will be a version 2 later on in life, but as far as the weight, I am not concerned about how much this thing weighs. There's a bunch of super secret racing stuff that I'm doing with this, but basically, I don't care how much that thing weighs, because whatever it weighs is weight I can pull out of other parts of the car. Now, so because of that, I don't really care how much this thing weighs, and I'm using all free materials that I already have on hand, so you know, it'll be okay. So let's melt some steel once again. I love welding, it is so much fun. Let's melt some steel and get a coat of paint on this thing and call it done. I have special equipment just for this. I made an oopsie. It's almost exactly what this is for. All right. By no means my greatest welding. Boy, this thing is having some trouble focusing. That's alarming. Not my greatest welding, but it'll certainly stay in place. And it's a $100 welder, so it'll be just fine. But that's pretty much the finished product for version 1.5. Version 2.0 is going to be much nicer. It's just stuff like, I messed up these holes drilling. These gaps are big and ugly right here. That's not on purpose. You know, stuff like that. I'm just not real happy with it in general. But it'll be plenty good enough for now. So what I'm going to do is set this thing out so it can cool off. And then we're going to throw some paint at it. And we're going to bolt it back in the car. We're going to be done. Let's move on. Shoo-wee! I am feeling these wheels right now. Oh man, these things look awesome.
I'll give you something to feel.
I am over the moon with how good these wheels look, and it's so stupid because it's some shitty wheels. Don't get too close to them. You'll see what I'm talking about. And some shitty spray paint, but I am so all about white wheels right now that they just look amazing. I cannot wait to get tires on them and get them on the car and see what they look like. Look at these one more time. Oh boy, talk about clean. Goodness gracious, somebody help me. All right, okay, on to the next thing. I haven't figured out what that is yet, but oh, so good. All right, so here are my big heavy hooks in action, stuck to the side of the thing. It is bolted in place, the cooler is in place. She's solid, she's solid. I'm not gonna be moving around. I'm a little happier with this than I thought I would be. All the ugliness kind of fades into the darkness. But yeah, I think this looks okay. Alright, so with that, I am going to wrap it up. I am calling this video an end. We got quite a lot done, figured out our tires, fixed the cool suit stuff, pulled a whole bunch of decals that I didn't like off, cleaned the whole outside off. I put this fender liner in up front here. We got a lot of stuff done. Painted these wheels. We got a lot of stuff done this weekend. I'm happy with that, so I am calling it. As usual, thank you so much for watching. I cannot wait to go back racing. Hopefully that'll be the next video, is some racing. If you want to stay up to date, if you want to stay caught up, follow me on Instagram at The.Daily.Racer. I am always posting there in between videos. You can get a sneak peek at a lot of the stuff that I do here on the weekends. And I hope that you guys are having as much fun as I am. It's been a wee bit dull this winter. I apologize for that. But I can promise you that it's only going to get better because the racing season is back. We are going racing once more, and I cannot wait to show you guys more about what it's like to be a racer. Car looks awesome. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next one.